Hello, a very good morning to you all, to you makers of jewellery and you beaders. How are you doing today? It's very overcast. It's still warm, but it's not as sunny as it has been. It's not as wonderfully lovely and summery as it has been. I hope you're all doing well, whatever the weather is like where you are watching me from today. I'm going to be making some necklaces with you. So it's a little bit like a torsade, I suppose. A torsade is like twisted. That's what that means. It means twisted. And you usually have lots of layers twisted together. I'm using today some beautiful shell pearls. They are 10mm in size, and I'm going to be twisting some lovely 4mm crystals around them. So I'm going to be using some wire, and that's going to give it its shape, because although the pearls are shell pearls, they are a little bit, yeah, I'd say they're probably more weightier than a glass pearl. And we're going to create this lovely twisted effect. They're very, very pretty and very straightforward to use. You don't have to do anything other than turn a little loop and just string on. So in terms of shell pearls are, or seashell pearls, whichever way you'd like to refer to them, are imitation pearls. They're made from the inner lining of an oyster shell or your mother of pearl. So it's still an organic material, but the nacre is ground into powder, and then it's shaped and dyed and coated to resemble genuine pearls. So that makes it a lot more affordable than natural or cultured pearls, but they still have this beautiful luster to them. And I think they're a really perfect in between. So good morning to everybody who's come in to join us. Good morning to Rachel. She says it's warm, sunny and cloudy in Barrow. Good morning to Camille. I can't see what emojis. I can guess what emoji she's giving to me there, Camille. Good morning to Sally and Martin, who's watching in a cloudy Barnsley. I hope you're doing well. So I'm going to take you over to the website now, and you can see how I put these colours together. You can probably see a little sneaky peek there down on my mat. I've got 4 lovely colours for you today. As I say, they're really lovely and easy to use. All the shell pearl will be the same colour. It's the crystals that are going to change, and the wire and the findings metal colours will also change for you as well. So head over to totallybeads.co.uk, and that is where you can see all our lovely makes. So there's lots of different ways to get into the video tutorial category. You can head into video tutorials icon here, or you can go into the Learn to Make Jewellery section at the top and head into the video tutorials there. Never quite sure what you can see of my screen on the page when I'm doing it. So I've named this Audrey Pearl Twist Necklace. There's a reason I've called it Audrey. Sometimes I look at the meanings of names, but when I see a pearl necklace like this, I think of our Miss Hepburn, and I think it's glamorous, it's chic, it's perfect for the party season ahead. So these are the Audrey Pearl Twist necklaces. Now each of them are £7.99. That's going to make up one necklace, but, and as far as I'm aware, it's only lasting for up until today. We've still got 20% off kits. So if you would like to check these out, or any of the other kits that we've got available on the website, pop in the code KITS, KITS, into your basket, and that's going to give you a voucher code of 20% off everything that you put in your basket, which is absolutely brilliant. So I've got a champagne, a green iris, a hematite, and a pink coloured crystal for you as well today. So you can choose whichever you want. You can see those pearls are predominantly beautiful. I think they're kind of like I'd say they're like an ivory white, but let's see, does it say in the description? If you're not sure what exactly we're using, you can scroll down. Yeah, so they're seashell pearl beads, 10mm round white. They're absolutely lovely. And then I'm using 4mm in the crystals, and this colourway is using the Champagne AB. So on this colourway, I think I've got champagne findings in these for you. You're going to get all of your shell pearl beads. I'm going to use about 40 of the shell pearls. If you want to make it longer, I've added extra jump rings in, so we can add an extender chain onto them if we wish to do so. We've also got those crystal round beads. I'm using about 125 for this make. Again, you can extend that, make that longer using that extender chain. You can make it smaller if you really want to, but I think that's quite a comfortable size around the neckline. We've also got some copper wire. I'm using a 0.6mm wire, which is a 22 gauge, I think. I'm going to be using about 100 centimeters of that, so that's about 39 to 40 inches, I'm pretty sure. I've got my jump rings. I'm using outer diameter 6x1 and a lobster clasp, which is 12mm. So that one there is your gorgeous champagne colourway, and that is £7.99. We have exactly the same components, only this time I'm going to be using this beautiful green iris crystal, 4mm crystal. This is what I'm going to demo for you today. I popped that on the gold findings, so you're going to get gold coloured wire, which is 0.6 or 22 American wire gauge in your kit. I'm pretty sure the jump rings I'm using are 6x1. They look like they are. I haven't got them out to hand, actually. I haven't got my findings. So just bear with me while I rustle in my bag. Sorry about that. I thought it was all organised. I've been counting out my beads this morning, but didn't get my findings. So that one is the beautiful green iris. We have the hematite colour. So they're not hematite, they're just coloured, that kind of, it's not black, it's not blue, it's not charcoal, it's hematite. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this. This is going to give you a really lovely monochrome look. So that one is in there for you. You can always change your currency as well. We do ship worldwide. You do need to check out with your currency here, and then when you pop in your shipping details, it'll give you a little bit of information about, you know, how long that might take to reach you and the costs for things like that. We do free UK delivery if your order is over £40, but there is a 2k limit. All of that there is on top of the page for you. So lots of different reasons and appealing things to shop with us for today. So this one is your Audrey in that hematite. And then lastly, but by no means least, we've got the pretty pink Audrey twist necklace. So again, using those lovely pure white shell pearls, and then you've got those very pretty little pink crystals just down there for you if you need to see any measurements. Or of course you might want to buy more. You might think, I really like this necklace, I'd like to just add in an extra strand of pearls. So you usually get about 40 pearls on the strand from the ones that I've counted. Sometimes you get the odd one extra, but on average you're getting 40 pearls. So that's why I've made this. So we only need one strand for this necklace, but they are very lovely. If you want to add anything else into your basket, you can just press quick add there. So there are lovely necklaces. Have a little look on totallybeads.co.uk if you would like to add those into your basket. Don't forget, we've got the offer on 20% off all kits if you add kit into your little voucher code at the end. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to head quickly back into the comments, and hopefully all the sound is working, the camera's working, it's doing what it needs to do today. So I have, who have I not said hello to? Good morning to Yolanda. She says, happy Monday. Can't believe it's Monday again. Can't believe it's the 18th of August. I don't know where this summer is going. It's speeding past. Hello to Carol. How are you doing? Camille. She sells seashell beads. Yes, she sells seashells on the seashore. She does. Right. I'm going to take you down on the mat and you can see how these look. Really straightforward. That wire is creating that shape for you. I've hired up my camera a little bit today. Hopefully it will give us enough to fit into shot. They don't look very large. They are just going to go quite close around the neckline, but by adding on that extender chain, by just making those jump rings link together, you can adjust that size quite easily. I think I've put 10 jump rings on the end of this to extend that chain. Again, if you've got any more, or you've got an extended chain ready made, using the Lobster Clasp will enable you to do that. Just about to drop my ruler. So this one here is the beautiful kind of green iris colour. You can see they are so twinkly, really, really pretty. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not too weighty. There you go. So I'll pop that one down out of the way. This one is the hematite. This is on the silver findings. And you can see I'm just twisting those beads around. And you can play around with the placement of those and how you would like them to be positioned. We have the gorgeous champagne. Very, very pretty. Let's get that in shot a little bit better. So these are 4mm crystals. They've got that beautiful facet on them. This has got your AB finish, which stands for Aurora Borealis, which means it's got, like, I always say it's like it's been dipped in petrol or a rainbow, because you've got lots of different colours on that sparkle. The champagne's really, really pretty. And then we have the pink, which are on the rose gold findings. I know I didn't mention that. There you go. So I'm going to take my 0.6mm wire, which is a 22 wire gauge. It is warm. I'm debating taking the jumper off. It didn't look as warm, and I've been out to get the bins that have been collected and bring them back in. It didn't feel that warm, but it is warm now. So I'm going to just open up my reel, and I'm going to cut myself about 100 centimetres of this. So that is about, I think, just under 40 inches. I'm just going to cut that tiny little tail off there. And what I always like to do with my wire is I like to straighten it. It's looking pretty straight, to be honest, but I tend to just run it through my fingers or through my nylon coated pliers, which, as you know, have seen better days. But that's just going to straighten out any kinks. But I'm going to just measure it out now. I'm going to take about 100 centimetres. So let me get my ruler. That's 30, 60, 90, and that will be about 100. So if you've got any little wibble wobbles, just straighten it out. It's nice to use a nice straight wire. We can straighten it as we go. It is quite a long length of wire to be working with, but it comes together pretty quickly, so don't worry too much about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little wrapped loop on the tail end. I'm going to pass that wire over to the other side of me at the moment, just so it can trail along the floor and not get in the way. So yeah, I'm going to make a little wrapped loop with this. You can use your round nose pliers or your bail step making pliers. I'm going to use the bail step making pliers just because it's going to give me exactly the same size loop on each side, and I'm going to use the second smallest bail step on the plier. So I'm going to use this one here. Again, it doesn't matter how large you make these loops, it just gives you something to hook your extendable chain and jump rings onto at the end with your clasp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small tail end. It doesn't have to be too long. I've probably got about an inch there, and I'm just going to bring it round and centre my loop. So I'm just giving it a little pinch so my loop is sitting on the top. I'm going to keep my round nose pliers or my bail step pliers in around that loop, and I'm going to give it a little tilt up. And that means when I bring that wire around, I'm going to bring it around the other side of me, I'm going to make sure that those wraps are nice and neat and close to that loop that I've got there. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. You can do this with your fingers because the wire is nice and soft. And I'm going to bring it round the back, and then bringing it round the front. And I'm just going to continue to do that until I've wrapped. I usually wrap about 3 times, to be honest. So not fighting with it, just bringing that round, centering that loop how I want it to be positioned. You can neaten it up. And then I'm going to come in with my cutters and I'm going to trim it nice and close, just the little tail end of the wire. And then I'm going to tuck that little end down. So I do like to pop my round nose or my pliers back into the loop, just to give me a little bit of purchase when I tuck that end down. So we need to make sure it's nice and flush. There's no scratchy, sharp edges to it. I am very warm in the jumper. I'll have a sweaty face when I've finished. I'm so attractive. Good morning, Anne. How are you doing? So there you go. I've got my little wrapped loop, which I'm going to use later. So now what I need to do is just string on my pearls. So I'm going to thread on 40 of my 10mm shell pearls. Just to reiterate, shell pearls are imitation pearls. They are made from the inside of an oyster shell. They're made from, it's the mother of pearl section of the shell, it's named. So the nacre, which is your kind of beautiful coating that gives your pearl your kind of luster and all of those lovely qualities, that's ground up into a powder. It's shaped, it's dyed, it's coated, and then it's going to resemble genuine pearls, but for a much more affordable price than your natural or cultured pearls would be. But as you can see, they're still giving all of, and you know, when you're using shell pearl, you're not going to get the kind of impurities that you would often get on a cultured pearl or a natural pearl. They are pretty much perfect. You're going to be able to make sure you've got that uniform shape and size and perfect kind of colour match, so to speak. So I'm going to add 40 of those on. So I'm just going to cut off the end of my thread and I'm going to string them on. So I'm taking the wire end, which doesn't have the loop on, and I'm just going to thread each of those on to my wire. So you can pick them up one by one, you can transfer them over, you can hear them hitting the lamp and things. I think it's probably quicker to just pick them up one by one. But if you wanted to, you can line up your thread with your wire and you can just feed them on that way. So the thread that the pearls are already onto, if we line that up with the wire, we can just transfer them, sliding it up and across. So I'm going to add 40 onto this. Hello Heather, how are you doing? Oh, I hope he's okay. Julie's in. She says, good morning, Natalie and everyone. I hope you're well. I bought them all. Ooh, Julie. I mean, you could twist more crystals onto them if you wanted to. I've just done it with one. But I'd love to see what you do, Julie, if you can share them in our handmade group. That would be lovely. So I'm just still straightening that wire end out just to make sure I can get them in and across. You can see they're just starting to string on. So I've counted these before and there should be 40 on my strand. So I'm just taking them off the strand they come on and transferring them onto my 0.6 or 22 gauge wire. I could have strung them on to begin with and done a here's one I've made earlier, but it is literally just stringing on your pearls and your crystals, so there wouldn't be much of a live really. Izzy, hello to you, my love. She says, hi, Natalie, in the car on the way to the West Coast till the weekend. So we'll have to watch the video and look forward to it when we get settled. Looks good. Weather's beautiful. Oh, good. I'm really glad that you've got the nice weather, Izzy. I am away this weekend. Very excited. haven't had a holiday for forever. So yeah, I'm going away this weekend with my sister and my nieces, or two of my nieces, I think, and my little boy. And we're going to have a girly weekend with Frank and my little boy in a lovely caravan on a lovely site in North Wales. So I'm really excited for that. So I've strung on all 40 of my pearls. What I'm going to do now is, you can see I've still got lots of this tail end of my wire. I'm going to make another little wrap loop. So I'm going to take my bail stack pliers and I'm going to push the pearls down. You can put them into the shape that you want already. This wire you can move and manipulate still. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that over one of the jaws of the pliers, and I'm going to twist and reposition my hand. So I've got a tiny little space now between where that bend is and where the pearl is. And I'm still going to go over the same size. So if you're using your round nose pliers, just make a note on the jaws of your pliers whereabout you're turning that first loop, because you want them to be the same. If you are using the bail step, then just note which one you use to begin with. I'm going to bring it all the way over, reposition my hand, make sure my little loop is centered. Let's hold it that way so you can see whether they are or aren't. They says those pearls are lovely. And then I'm going to bring that tail end all the way round. It's difficult to do and get it all in camera for you. Now again, use your tools if you want to. I'm just using my fingers, but I will use my tools because that's what they're for. Probably get a neater wrap. Just be gentle as you hold the wire if you are using your tools, because we want to make sure that we're still using this wire in a little bit, so we don't want to mar it and mark it. Do you know what? I just prefer to use my fingers. So I'm going to wrap 3 times there or thereabouts. So I've got the same size wrap on both sides, and then you need to have a longer tail end than what your strand is. So if I was to hold that up, you'll see that continues. The reason why this needs to be longer is because we're going to wrap around the pearls. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add on my crystals. Now I tend to add on about 125 crystals. You can take the odd one off or add another one on. Let's get in shot so you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them off the strand. I'm going to give them a little pinch. It is so warm. And I'm going to take some into my hand. Try and keep that drill hole lined up. Otherwise you're doing what I'm doing now, and that's just popping one on at a time. Let's move those pliers out of the way. Camille says, every time we go to Wales it rains all the time. I hope the sun shines on your trip. It's typical though, isn't it? It's been quite a nice summer, and then the minute I've actually got time off with the little one to do something with him, holiday wise, the chances are that it won't be great. But the site is great. It's got a big play area for him. We've stayed before, not in the caravan, but they've got like little lodges there as well. There's a gorgeous walk with sheep and beautiful fields and forest. I think the walk is called Jim's Walk as well, or there's a gate which says Jim's Gate, which is just lovely because my father-in-law that we lost on Christmas Day, his name was Jim. So that's always nice to have a little wander and see the sheep and see the squirrels and woodpeckers and those kind of things. And they've got a swimming pool on site as well, indoors. So hopefully you'll have loads of fun. He's just moved up a level swimming. Very, very pleased with himself, and so he should be. So that will be nice. And then we've got the bank holiday, haven't we, on Monday? So I won't be with you on Monday. I'm going to be back with you Wednesday, and I'll show you what I'm doing with you Wednesday at the end of this. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to being away and don't really get that much time to spend with my sister or my nieces, so it'll be lovely. And we've got lots of exciting stuff going on this way at the moment. I'm about to get an extension on my house that we've been saving up for forever. So I'm going to warn you now, then I'm hoping there won't be any disturbance for my lives, because I will have to warn the builders. If they come in any time between 10 and 11 on a Monday or a Wednesday, they're going to end up on Facebook and YouTube. So they need to stop drilling and banging during that hour. Heather's asking what level swimming. Oh, she's an ex-swimming teacher. He's just moved up to level 5. I don't know if it's the same within each teachings, but he goes to a swim club. I won't advertise it, but it's set up by a British Olympian swimmer, and they do children's classes. She doesn't teach him. The Olympian doesn't teach him. But I just think it's really important to be able to swim and be safe around water. I think it's really good exercise. And I'm going to need to start going and doing some as well, because my back's been awful yesterday. I could barely stand up. I couldn't really walk very well. I tried to do some stretches and I thought I might just end up staying on the floor. And while I was lying on the floor, I realised I needed to hoover up again, or vacuum up. Hoover is brand. I haven't got a hoover. I have got a vacuum cleaner, but it isn't Hoover branded. So yeah, my back's been really, really bad. It's feeling much better today. But when we're making jewellery on a live, we often talk about absolutely random other things, don't we? And I like to share tips. My tip is usually not just jewellery related, but life in general. And my tip is always wear sun cream. But my tip for you today is stretch. Stretch. Hello, Anastasia. How are you doing? She says the pearls are gorgeous and the stones. So I am using, let's get back to the jewellery, yeah? I'm using 10mm shell pearls, which are imitation pearls made from the nacre of the inside of a like mother of pearl, essentially. And it is ground into a powder and made into these beautiful, affordable shell pearls, which are all uniform in shape, size and colour. And they're very, very lovely. They're 10mm in size, and then I'm using these crystals, and these gorgeous crystals. These ones are the green iris, so they're very, very twinkly. There's greens, golds, and I would say blues on these as well. Absolutely gorgeous. They're 4mm in size, and I am using a 0.6 wire, which is 22 gauge wire. I've used about 100 centimetres or 40 inches of the wire, one long length, and we're just going to wrap them round. So I added on 40 of the shell pearl, and I'm adding 125, I think, of the little crystals that I'm adding on now. We'll see. I'm not counting them. That would be good multitasking, wouldn't it, if I was counting in my head and rabbiting on to you about swimming lessons and holidays and bank holidays. So we get a bank holiday in England. I don't think Scotland have got a bank holiday on Monday. Theirs sometimes is different to ours, but it is our last bank holiday of the month, which is usually a cue that summer is, or the summer holidays at least, are nearly finishing. I feel very guilty because I've not done anything with him really. Good old nanny, good young nanny has been looking after him for me on the days that I'm working, and he's been having loads of fun, but mum guilt is real. You can't do right for doing wrong, can you? You work, you want to show them, the importance of having a job that you enjoy, but you also need to make sure you're spending time with them while they're little. Hello, Joanne, how are you doing? She says hello from a very overcast Coventry. Yeah, Heather says swimming is good for everyone and everything. I could do with a dip in a cool pool right now. I'm absolutely roasting. Okay, now we're going to get to the part where we are twisting our crystals around our pearls. Now, I find this can be a little bit challenging. Sometimes it works perfectly and I get the tension really, really right. Other times I need to fiddle with it a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just push them down at the top. And do you know, if I lift myself up, I'll show you how sometimes I feel it works a little bit better. Might not now. So what I tend to do is you don't want this to fall off the end. So you can put a little just to stop them sliding off. But what the crystals right up so they're nice and flush with each other. And I tend to let gravity do it. So sometimes I'll just give it a little swing like that, and then that will start me off in terms of the tension and how I want it to be positioned. If I put you back down on the mat, you'll see that I've still got lots of crystals at the end. So I'm just going to tighten that twist up a little bit. So it's literally just wrapping one around the other, really. I'm not doing anything too fancy with it. I'm just kind of crossing them over until I get the tension that I want. I think I might have to take off some of these crystals, but I will be able to kind of fix it up a little bit later. I'm not necessarily counting the pearls, but I want them, first and foremost, you need to make sure they're all pushed up, these crystals, because, so maybe pop a little bend right at the end of that last crystal, just so they don't become kind of loose and separated out. And you kind of want the twist even, so it's going to be covering, you know, I'm not counting how many pearls are in between, but by just getting it originally started off like that, you can then kind of roll it. So I'm just twisting it at the top. And can you see how that becomes much more like evenly distributed and those crystals more evenly spread all the way along until I'm happy with my crystal position? I think that's looking quite good, to be honest. I think I might just take the odd little crystal off the end there. Maybe tighten that one up a little bit more. No, I've counted right. I'm going to leave it as it is. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that I take my last crystal, and when I'm happy with the positioning, I'm just going to wrap that around the neck of the last loop. So I'm going to, it will kind of untwist a little bit as you do this, but what you'll find is by twisting it on, because we're using not thread but we're using the wire will hold the shape in place. So when I'm happy that that wrap is secure, where's my round nose pliers, my bail step, I'm just going to make sure that that loop is nice and central again. I'm just going to wrap it round, making sure that it's all fit in place and I'm happy with the positioning of it. And then just going to come in and trim my excess wire, and again I'm going to tuck down any sharp ends. Now what I want to do to just neaten it up further is I'm going to give it a twist, but I'm going to do it as if I was like wringing out clothes. So if I've been doing hand washing, can you see I'm just twisting one hand in one direction, gently around, and it's as if I'm wringing out my pearls. And that's going to just tighten up and even up that twist a little bit. Now all I need to do is just shape it. Again, I've got that lovely wire, so I'm just going to shape it around. You can see I'm putting it in shot properly. There you go. Just twisting it into that curve from the necklace. And then all I need to do is start attaching my findings. So I'm going to take out 10 of my jump rings. Are they 5 by 1, not 6 by 1? I think they might be 5 by 1. I did put them in the instructions, so Simon will make sure you've got the right ones. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my jump ring as usual onto one side with the lobster clasp. And then I'm going to add a little chain of jump rings to the other side, so I've got that extender clasp. Extender chain. If you have a extender chain, we sell them at Totally Beads as well. You could always do a ready-made one, or if you've got a piece of chain left over from a project, you can use that as well. Just make sure that your lobster clasp fits in to the link on the chain that you're using. By making my own with the jump rings, I'm making sure all of the wire and all of my findings are perfectly matched together. They're all the same tone of metal. So I'm going to open up one of my jump rings by giving it a little twist towards me. I'm going to slide that on through the loop that I made, the wrap loop at one end, and I'm going to add on my lobster clasp onto the one side as well. And then give it a little twist to close. Gosh, it is so warm. I didn't realise how warm it was. Is my lobster clasp on the right way? Yeah, we can twist that around. And all I'm going to do on the other side is just make a little chain. So I give it a little twist to open and slide my first one on. Don't worry about the shape of your necklace, you can shape it afterwards, and the wire will kind of hold its shape as well. I'm then going to keep opening up my jump rings and threading one through the last and close it over. So you can add on as many as you want really, just to get the length that you want. So when you're opening your jump ring, ooh, did you hear that lovely click? You have to make sure that you are closing it properly afterwards. We want to make sure that there's nothing catching. It's all nice and perfectly finished. So you'll see when you get them out your bag, they're not perfectly closed. So sometimes there's a slight overlap. So I tend to twist to close first, and then just a few millimeters to open. Always twisting towards or away from you, getting lots of purchase in your pliers to support the opening and closing of your ring, but always just opening in towards you, opening or closing towards you and away from you. It doesn't matter which way round you prefer to do it, as long as you're not opening them out, because we don't want to distort the shape of the ring, because then we won't be able to close it properly. Give it a little wiggle if it's not fully closed. That one's not fully closed. That one's not fully closed. Why does that one not want to fully close? That's better. Making sure they're perfectly lined up. It's because I'm using different pliers from what I usually use. I usually use a pair of chain nose and a pair of flat nose. And it doesn't matter what you use. You can use a jump ring opener as well. You just want to make sure that the pliers are smooth on the inside, so we're not marking our jump rings. Obviously, the more you open and close a jump ring, the more strain and stress and weakness you're kind of going to end up adding to it. So we only want to open it up by a little amount, just enough to attach onto the last one, making sure it's lovely and closed. And just add on as many jump rings as you want really for the length of that extended chain. I think I added 10. It's so warm. Okay. Anastasia says, take it from me, a person that had back surgery and I have nerve pain. The water is your friend, especially for your back. Okay, swimming it is then. There used to be a swimming pool really so close to where I live now. It was like in walking distance around the corner. Then they closed it. So I have to venture quite a lot further now. but it'll be worth it, won't it? Stretch, drink water, wear sun cream, and go swimming if you can. And if you can't, learn to swim. Okay, there you go. Now that extended chain is going to give me the option to make it a little bit longer and change where it sits around my neckline. All I need to do is just attach the clasp into where I want it to be. So that is your Audrey pearl twist necklace today. Really straightforward to make, really easy to do, and very pretty and very sparkly. They're all £7.99 for a kit, which will make up one necklace, either in your champagne, your green iris, which is this one, the hematite colour, or the pink. They're all on these beautiful pure white shell pearls, which are 10mm in size. It's kind of giving you this kind of torsade kind of look. Very easy to make. If you would like to make with these products, head over to totallybeads.co.uk, have a little look, and don't forget to add that code into your basket, because it's only going to be around until I think it's midnight tonight. So it's 20% off kits. So all you need to do is put kits, KITS, into your basket, and anything you buy which is a kit of Totally Beads, you should get 20% off, which is fabulous. Camille says, thanks for the tutorial. Thanks for being with me. Rachel says, very pretty. Thank you, Natalie. You are very, very welcome. Thank you for joining me, Rachel. Beautiful, says Julie. Thank you so much. Just Me says, thank you, Natalie. Beautiful necklace. Thanks very much. Oh, really? Not breaststroke, Heather? Oh, that's the one I like to do. Oh, I'll just float like a starfish then instead, Camille says, lovely. Thank you so much. Would you like a little sneak peek of what I'm doing on Wednesday? All being well and all permitting. I mean, I can sit in the chair, so even if the back does completely go out, I can sit in the chair. Sally says, beautiful necklace. Thanks, Natalie. Wonderful tutorial. Thank you so much. It was dead simple, wasn't it? I just chatted on, like always, and threaded on pearls. If you're watching on playback, you're watching a little bit later, like you're watching next week, tomorrow, next month. Probably should have told you at the beginning, but if you don't want to see me chatting on, you can fast forward. You can watch me in double speed, or you can just skip right to the part that you want to have a little look at. So that's a tip if you need to come back. And obviously, if you get these kits, we were speaking, weren't we, last live? Mina was saying about how they now write the names of the kits on your purchases. So this will say Audrey on it. So if you get these and think, what was I planning on doing with those lovely shell pearls? You may be planning on doing something completely different. But if you want that inspiration, all you need to do is type Audrey into the Totally Beads website, or have a little look on YouTube when we play it and we share it. It's there forever, and you'll be able to come back to this whenever you want to. All right, okay. Thanks, Heather. Thank you for all your tips, not just jewellery tips, but just life ones in general. These are the bracelets I'm going to be making with you on Wednesday. I think, did I call these Marilyn? I was going for like a really like classic Hollywood cinema week, wasn't I, with Audrey today? And I think these are Marilyn. I could be wrong. I'm sure they're Marilyn. They begin with an M anyway. Look at them. They're dead cute. They are elastic. Just elastic bracelets. I say just elastic bracelets. When we do stretchy bracelets, people are always like, oh, it's just straight stringing on elastic. They're really simple. They are, but I love them, and I love the fact that you can do different things with them. You don't have to just do straight stringing to create this lovely effect. So these are just some of the colours. Camille, I made sure that you had like bronzy browns and oranges and citrusy colours. So I'm using lovely spaces with you on Wednesday. We've got gold, silver and a copper colour, and I'm using the miracle beads. I know some of you love the miracle beads. They're called miracle beads, I think, because they look like there's a bead inside a bead, the way the light hits them. They're really, really lovely, very, very bright, very, very summery, and very straightforward to do. But if you want to find out how, you're going to have to come and join me on Wednesday. They also stack quite nicely together as well. Can you see how they can kind of interlock with each other? So they're the bracelets I'm going to be doing with you on Wednesday. Lots and lots of fun. If you can come and play with me, yeah, thanks. Mina, she's like my little admin. She's like, yeah, they're called Marilyn bracelets. Clearly going through a classic Hollywood cinema phase. I love classical Hollywood cinema. So I've got all my starlets. I've got my Audrey necklace today, Marilyn on Wednesday, bank holiday on Monday next week. So thank you for being with me today. I hope you all have a wonderful start to the week. I hope you keep cool, even though it's quite cloudy here. Or maybe we'll get some thunder and lightning. Monica says, beautiful. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you all have a lovely week. Camille saying, finally, some of my colours. I always try and accommodate as best as I can. Stock permits. Right, I'll see you all on Wednesday if you can be with me. Have a lovely week, everybody. Thanks for being with me today. Keep making, keep smiling, just keep smiling.